News. It's Wednesday and you're watching News 5. I'm Sabrina Daly and here's what's making headlines tonight. Rising tension over fuel prices. Belize's business community is calling for relief, but the Prime Minister says not so fast, pushing back and warning the country can't afford deeper cuts. Also, a sharp rebuke from the nation's leader, accusations of political opportunism after a grieving family becomes part of an escalating dispute, as the Prime Minister backs police involvement and calls out what he says crossed the line. And a deadly shooting shakes Gardenia Village. One man now facing murder charges after a teenage boy is killed and another fights for his life. Plus, a high-profile wedding on a private island puts Belize in the global spotlight, drawing attention from influencers and media elites. These stories and more are coming up in 60 seconds. Stay with us. News 5 starts now.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Welcome back. A growing debate over fuel prices is putting pressure on the government as businesses' community calls for relief. But the Prime Minister isn't having it. The Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry is pushing for temporary cuts to fuel taxes, arguing that global price drops aren't trickling down to consumers at the pump. But today, Prime Minister John Bersenio responded, rejecting the proposal and criticizing the Chamber's position as a misreading of how fuel taxes support government revenue. The disagreement highlights a wider tug-of-war over rising costs and economic policy. Here's what the Prime Minister had to say.
It's embarrassing. Listen, if you collect $100 in taxes and you have environmental tax, you have the GST, and you have the excise and the import tax, it's still $100. It doesn't matter where you take it from. You could take it off for environmental tax or the import tax or the excise tax. It's still removing money from the whole amount that you're doing, and that's what we're doing. So it's embarrassing sometimes to read such proclamations.
Rising fuel costs are hitting Belizeans where it hurts. And now the government says everyone in the supply chain must share the burden. As global tensions in the Middle East drive prices higher, drivers here at home are digging deeper into their pockets just to fill up. Prime Minister John Bersenio says the government has already absorbed millions in lost fuel tax revenue to soften the blow, but warns that alone isn't enough. He's now calling on fuel importers to tighten their margins, arguing that the decades-old pricing formula no longer reflects today's economic realities. Here's how he broke it down.
I have left that with the financial secretary, and I know they've tried to ask to meet with me, but I have to declare my interest. We have a service station in Orange Walk Town, so I try to stay away from such topics. But the reality is that when that formula was set in 2004, the prices were way lower, and presently the prices continue to go up, and the government has been cutting, and we sent you all the data, millions of dollars in taxes that we are foregoing. The public is taking a hit because the price continue to go up. And so the dealers are expected to do their part, and we hope that they would understand that. It's not something that we do out of malice or anything, but we're all in this boat together, so everybody has to do their part. It's like with unions during COVID, when we got into government, we had to appeal to them to accept a salary cut, because then everybody was going through a difficult time. So I'm appealing to them, and I'm hoping that common sense is going to prevail.
Commuters and bus operators alike could soon see big changes on the road as the government moves to bring more structure to Belize's public transportation system. Cabinet has signed off on a proposed concession agreement between the National Bus Company and the Transport Board, an approach designed to modernize fleets and improve the overall travel experience. At the heart of the issue is uncertainty. Prime Minister John Briceño says the current system of annual licensing has made it tough for operators to secure financing and invest in better buses. The new plan aims to fix that by offering longer-term licenses, giving operators more stability while holding them to higher standards for safety and service.
One of the problems we've been having with the bus runs is that you get a yearly license. You can't take that license and go to the bank and say, I want to borrow to buy a new bus or a very good bus, because you don't know. The bank will say, what if next year they don't renew? So the idea is that no, you need to be able to give these long-term licenses, but under certain conditions. You get a long-term licenses if you would improve your bus, if you bring a new bus, or whatever it is, the standards that the transport department is set. And pretty much that's what's happening.
Reached out to Bus Association President Philip Jones, but he says he's holding off on comment until he meets with the Ministry of Transport. A political firestorm is brewing over the arrest of former UDP Chairman Alberto August. As that debate intensifies, Prime Minister John Briceño is stepping in to defend the actions taken by authorities, insisting that this case isn't about silencing criticism, but about protecting individuals from harmful online attacks. The Prime Minister backed Home Affairs Minister Oscar Mira's decision to involve police, stressing that anyone who feels targeted has a constitutional right to seek protection. But he didn't stop there. Briceño also accused August of crossing the line, saying that he exploited a grieving family for political gain. Here's how he weighed in on the growing controversy.
I don't think I have to give you an account of everything that I do, so let me start with that. And I say that with the deepest of respect. But more importantly, I think that Oscar Mira also is a citizen. And if he feels that somebody is slandering him, he has every right to go and make a report. And so he made a report, which is his constitutional right. And then the police picked up Mr. August. I don't know the entire details. And he got bail on Sunday.
Alberto August makes posts about you every single day. Have you ever thought about bringing cyberbullying charges against him?
Alberto August wouldn't take a time of my efforts in dealing with him. He can say whatever the hell he wants, and it doesn't bother me a bit. So
is Mr. Oscar Mira thin-skinned to be a politician?
No, absolutely not. We are all different. I mean, we are all different, and sometimes we do need to take a stance. Maybe I should consider, taking out lawsuits against Alberto August. Or maybe I should have all PUPs to take out lawsuits for him. So maybe can spend a lot of time away from his computer.
A string of violent incidents, including multiple shootings reported overnight, is once again triggering worries about public safety and the root causes of crime in Belize. While the government has pointed to measures such as the state of emergency as helping to suppress gang-related violence, Prime Minister John Briceño says law enforcement alone cannot solve the problem. According to the Prime Minister, many of today's acts of violence stem from deeper social issues, including a breakdown in discipline at home and within communities. Briceño argues that while police can respond to crime, parents and families must play a greater role in shaping the next generation before conflicts escalate into violence.
one murder is one too much, and we're always concerned about it. And we've been fighting and doing our very best to be able to keep that as best as possible under control. We had the SOE, I think, has been successful. Most of it has come now, but this now is between individuals. And sometimes that's difficult to control. You could put a policeman in every corner, but the minute you turn, somebody, if you want to give trouble, and that's what's happening. I think what's important, I've been saying this for a long time, that I don't think we are as good parents as we were a few generations ago. I always use this example that when I was a kid, I called a lady white roaches, mischief, and my father found out about it, and when I got home, he gave me a whipping because you don't do that. Today, when you call out a child to a parent, they want to get upset with you, and so we have lost that kind of discipline within our communities, and that's what's happened as then they become adults. And so maybe Mia Motley is into something when she said that setting up parenting clubs, to be able to help families to learn about parenting and what all it requires, and that it really, and I know it's a cliche, it takes a village to grow a child. And I think that was success. That is the success when we were growing up. That you couldn't do anything out there because by the time you get home, your parents know, and you're getting in trouble.
The state of emergency is set to expire on Monday, June 8th. As of today, only 30 men have been arrested under SOE regulations. Coming up, an apparent accidental shooting in Belize City, but police say there's more to the story, and it centers on an illegal gun.
No one should be up at this time. If you're still up, it's not you, it's your mattress. Because the right mattress changes everything. Sherwood Bedding Luxury Resort Pillow Top Mattress. Sleep better, wake better. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
Our story was built by people, neighbors helping neighbors, standing side by side with those who trust us to protect what matters most and help build our communities. Being there when needed most. Across borders, across generations. Still growing, still giving, still just getting started. After 185 years.
Change is taking shape every day. It all starts with Game Changers. Investing in modern transport, better health infrastructure, renewable power for all, digital transformation, and more opportunities for a brighter future, the European Union's Global Gateway Initiative is unlocking new potential. Game Changers are bringing this to life. Game Changers, empowering the future. Follow the EU in Belize to meet the game changers.
They're not just cigarette, vape, hookah, cigar, and all kind of tobacco product, Lego, dangerous smoke, and toxic chemical. When you smoke or vape, that cloud they not disappear. It turn into second-hand smoke and third-hand smoke where people wrong your breathing. That kind of smoke that could cause cancer, diabetes, lungs disease, and heart problems. It could kill anybody who get exposed to it. If you smoke or vape, go outside, far from people. Everybody deserves to breathe clean air.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
Get ready, Dangriga! Something big is coming your way! Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026 is heading to the culture capital, Dangriga. Join us on June 12th at 6:30 a.m. at the iconic Alejo Beni Park for a morning filled with energy, excitement, and pure talent. This year, it's all about the kids, from singing to dancing, poetry to performances. If they've got talent, we've got the stage. Bring out the entire family and come celebrate creativity, culture, and the future stars of Belize. Expect fun, music, surprises, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss it. Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2026, where young talent shines the brightest.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Gun violence in rural communities is once again under the spotlight after a brazen attack in Pomona Village left 2 people hurt. Police say gunmen riding motorcycles pulled up outside a local business on Tuesday evening and opened fire, hitting a 25-year-old man and a 16-year-old boy before speeding off. Now investigators are combing through surveillance footage as they work to determine exactly what happened and who is behind the shooting. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stacy Smith has more on the investigation.
Police are investigating a shooting incident which resulted in the injury of 25-year-old Orlando Acosta and a 16-year-old male minor, which occurred sometime around 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, 2nd June 2026 in Pomona Village. Initial investigation revealed that these 2 persons were standing outside of a business establishment when they were approached by persons on board 2 motorcycles. One of the pillion rider of one of the motorcycles is reported to have produced a firearm and fired several shots, resulted in the injury of those persons. A number of video footage have been retrieved and they are being reviewed as it is believed that they will assist the ongoing investigation.
Do we know the motive?
No motive has been established. However, we are not of the view that any of the injured individuals was the target, but another individual that was in the group.
Police say the victims have no prior history with law enforcement. A late-night shooting in southern Belize has left a young man fighting for his life tonight. 19-year-old Jason Marin remains hospitalized in critical but stable condition after gunfire erupted around 9 p.m. in the Rivas Estate area of Dangriga town. Police say Marin was entering a property when a gunman inside a passing vehicle opened fire, striking him multiple times before speeding away. Investigators are actively working to uncover what led to this targeted attack and track down those responsible. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stacey Smith has more on the active investigation.
Police are investigating a shooting incident which resulted in the injury of 19-year-old Jason Marin of Dangriga Town, which occurred at around 9 o'clock p.m. in the Rivas Estate area of Dangriga Town. Marin is reported to have been entering a property when an individual who was on board a vehicle stopped and fired several shots, resulted in his injury.
Any motive?
No motive has been established, but what I will say is that the property that Mr. Marin was entering is one that has been frequented by police as it relates to anti-drugs and weapons operation.
At this time, no arrests have been made in relation to this investigation. Police have charged 34-year-old Dean Vaccaro of Sandhill Village in a deadly shooting that killed a teenage boy and left another critically injured. He now faces multiple charges, including murder and attempted murder, following Sunday night's attack in Gardenia Village. Investigators say a lone gunman opened fire on a family gathering around 8 p.m. 15-year-old Rakeem Armstrong was fatally shot while at a nearby shop, while his cousin, 18-year-old Justin Young, suffered serious injuries. Police believe the shooting stems from a dispute over a missing motorcycle, but say the investigation is ongoing.
As a result of the ongoing investigation into the shooting incident, which resulted in the murder of 15-year-old Rakeem Armstrong and the shooting injury of 18-year-old Justin Young, police have formally arrested and charged 34-year-old Dean Vaccaro of Sandhill Village for the crimes of murder, attempted murder, use of deadly means of harm, and dangerous harm.
Whoever did this, they know who they are. But everything is being left in God's hand, and I believe and I know that my God will deal with this, and to me, mistaken identity, wrong place at the wrong time, those are both scenarios that keep taking place over and over in Belize, and I just want to put it out there that it doesn't make no sense killing ourselves, killing each other for stupidity. They make their emotions rise, they get angry, and instead of thinking of the consequences, they just go and do something. Probably they're high too, on alcohol or drugs or whatever they were on, and these scenarios keep happening over and over. And we just want to ask for prayers for our family, for strengthening, and for strengthening us and covering us in your prayers. We just ask for that.
Police are investigating a shooting in Belize City that may have been accidental, but it involves an illegal firearm. Authorities say 23-year-old Christopher Zetina was injured Tuesday afternoon on St. Joseph Street when a gun he was holding went off, wounding him at his own home. Now investigators are working to verify his account and track down the weapon, noting that the injured man is not licensed to carry a firearm. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stacey Smith has more on the case.
Police are investigating a shooting incident which resulted in the injury of 23-year-old Christopher Zetina, which occurred at around 4:15 p.m. on 2nd June 2026 on St. Joseph Street, Belize City. The investigators reported that they visited the Karahushna Memorial Hospital, having learned that an injured person was at that location. And from speaking to Mr. Zetina, they learned that he was at his residence and he had a firearm in his possession, and it accidentally discharged, injuring him. Police officers are following up on that statement to see if it can be corroborated and also to locate the firearm that was used, as Mr. Zetina is not the holder of a license.
So are any charges going to be levied against him for handling a firearm that isn't licensed to him?
I know when it comes to prosecution in relation to possession of unlicensed firearm, a very important component is for the firearm in question to be tendered into evidence. That is not the position as yet, but we acknowledge that there was an admission on his part that he was at some point in time in possession of a firearm. So we are exploring to see how best to address that situation.
As of news time, police have yet to recover the weapon. A crackdown on illegal weapons is delivering results tonight, with police making multiple arrests across southern and western Belize. From a tense late-night chase in Punta Gorda to a targeted raid in Unitedville. Officers say they removed illegal firearms from the streets and detained several suspects in separate operations. In one case, a 23-year-old man was caught after a pursuit ended with the discovery of a loaded 9mm pistol. In another, 5 individuals now face joint charges after authorities uncovered a firearm and live ammunition during a police operation in Cayo. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stacey Smith has more on how these coordinated efforts unfolded.
Punta Gorda police have formally arrested and charged 23-year-old Rizan Virus of Punta Gorda Town for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license and kept ammunition without a gun license. The arresting officer reported that he was on anti-crime operation within that municipality at around 1:25 a.m. when his attention was drawn to 2 male persons who were on board a motorcycle. Upon that officer seeking to approach the male persons, the motorcycle sped off and a pursuit ensued. During the course of the pursuit, Virus fell from the cycle and attempted to flee. However, he was apprehended, and a search of a backpack that was in his possession resulted in the discovery of a 9mm pistol, which contained a magazine with 18 live rounds of 9mm ammunition. As a consequence of an operation carried out by Special Patrol Unit personnel on 2nd June 2020 at a residence in Unitedville, Cayo District, 5 persons, namely Calvin Garcia, Sidney Forbes, Kareem Garcia, Bernadine Myers, and Kevin Trapp were jointly charged for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license and kept ammunition without a gun license. These charges follows the discovery of a .22 pistol containing 5 live rounds of .22 caliber ammunition.
The arrest in the Cayo district comes as police ramp up operations nationwide, targeting illegal firearms and working to curb rising gun violence. After the break, PM Bersenio questions millions spent on the LIU, saying that money could be put to work keeping young people out of crime in the first place.
Member owners of St. John's Credit Union Limited, mark your calendars. Join us for the 80th Annual General Meeting on Saturday, June 13, 2026 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's all happening at St. Catherine Academy's Mercy Center Auditorium on Marine Parade Boulevard, Belize City. Your voice matters. Come take part in the discussion on our transformation, member benefits, and plans. Registration starts at 8 a.m. Come out, cast your vote, and help shape your credit union's future. Plus, get ready to win prizes throughout the event. For 80 years, St. John's Credit Union has stood with its member owners. Now, we look ahead to the next chapter. Together, you're more than a number. You're a member owner. St. John's Credit Union Limited. Safe saving, smart borrowing.
Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
Insurance Fact. Did you know Home Protector Insurance provides liability insurance that is for licensing? Public liability insurance for the hotels and guest houses protects the guests staying at the resort. Tour operators insurance for on-site tourists and marine passenger liability for passengers. You take care of your guests, we'll take care of you. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
The future is calling. Belize Bank, your future, our commitment.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
Prepare for the sweltering heat with a Rheem AC unit to keep you and your family cool and cozy. Get the recommended BTU for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save some much-needed cash with an inverter unit, which provides superior energy efficiency. When the heat is on, stay cool with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Rheem. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Police have formally arrested and charged a resident of Masco Village with aggravated assault and kept prohibited firearm. The charges stem from a report made on May 31st, 2026, in which a man alleged that while riding in Vasquez's vehicle, he saw a firearm and asked to get out. Vasquez reportedly retrieved the weapon and pointed it at him. ASP Stacey Smith relays the report.
Police have formally arrested and charged 45-year-old Vigil Vasquez of Mascal Village for the crime of aggravated assault and kept firearm without a gun license. This arrest follows a report made by a male person who stated that on 31st May 2026, he boarded a vehicle that was being driven by Vasquez, and whilst inside that vehicle, he observed a firearm and asked to be allowed to exit. Mr. Vasquez is reported to have retrieved the firearm and pointed it at the male person. However, the male person managed to make good his escape. As a consequence of this report, Mr. Vasquez was apprehended and a .40 caliber pistol was seized.
In Belize, the highest caliber firearm allowed for personal license use is a 9mm. The government's decision to halt a major component of the Leadership Intervention Unit program has left hundreds of participants searching for what's next. Critics argue that the move has displaced vulnerable Belizeans who relied on the program for income. But Prime Minister John Briceño says the LIU was never intended to function as a permanent employment scheme. Pointing to the nearly $18 million spent on the initiative, Briceño argues that those funds could be redirected into youth development, after-school activities, and other programs aimed at preventing crime before it starts. He also says job opportunities already exist, including in the country's growing construction sector, but insists participants must be willing to meet the demands of private sector employment.
This was never an employment agency. LIU was simply to hold you for about 3 months and then say, okay, for you to go elsewhere. Listen, we're looking at almost $18 million. That's a lot of money, and that we can use elsewhere. We can have sports programs, we have after-school programs, we could keep these kids in school so that they don't go down that route. I think there's better use for it. Mind you, and I want to repeat again, there are certain programs from the LIU, the intervention and different programs. We want to keep that. But the issue where you're just paying these guys, I mean, there's work everywhere you want to. I mean, you might not get the work that you want, but you can get a job. And then you work your way up, as the opportunities arise.
With the many construction projects going on, are you making any efforts to get the many construction projects happening right now, are you making any efforts to get these individuals hired in these programs?
Well, they do, and I'm sure that the people from LIU can be able to help in setting them in these areas, but it is something that then these guys would want to do, because when you work in the private sector, you have to put a full 8 hours. The LIU was never designed to be an employment agency, never. And somehow it ended up where you just give these people a salary. Whether we get money, we're getting our money's worth, I mean, pretty much if I tell you, we don't think so. And so it is important to put that money to better use.
The Leadership Intervention Unit continues to serve the community, but insiders say the ending of the work programs will make mediation and intervention efforts significantly more difficult. As government efforts continue to define and formalize borders between communities such as Hopkins and Sati River, as well as Placencia and St. Bite, concerns are growing that political interests and powerful investors could benefit at the expense of Indigenous land rights. Tonight, Garifuna leaders are urging Belizeans not to fall into what they describe as a divide and conquer strategy, warning that the fight is not between ethnic groups, but between ordinary Belizeans and forces they say are steadily pushing communities off their ancestral lands. NGC President Alex Nalberto and Assistant Treasurer Ifashina Efuniemi explain.
This process, in my view, is taking somewhat of a political line, because we know how the village councils have gone from being non-partisan to very, very polarized and very, very political. So hence the reason why it is important that the NGC leads this charge, is in the front of these conversations to ensure that Garifuna rights are protected and that they don't try to score a win using the established political system.
Don't be fooled. I'll tell every Belizean, really and truly, of all those traditional ethnic groups that call themselves Belizeans, please don't fool yourself into thinking that this is an us versus them situation. You need to be clear who are the us and who are the them. Because the us and the them is not Garifuna versus Maya, or Maya versus Mestizo, or Creole versus Garifuna. We have to recognize who the common enemy is in what has been transpiring in our country and the systematic disenfranchisement of the regular Belizean, right? That is important for all Belizeans to understand.
The Independent Commission on Village Boundary Disputes began its consultations in the southern villages in October of 2025 and is anticipating to complete the work by September of this year. A family's urgent search is stretching across the country tonight as they race to find 30-year-old Richard Philip Charrington, a man they say desperately needs medical care. Charrington, who recently relocated from La Democracia to Mullins River, has been missing since May 21st. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, his loved ones say time is critical and every sighting matters. In recent days, he's been spotted along the coastal highway in Hope Creek, Roaring Creek, and even in Belmopan as recently as Friday. But each time, attempts to reach him have fallen short. He's constantly on the move. Described as about 5 feet 5 inches tall, medium build, dark complexion with a low haircut and a Pamela tattoo on his right arm, Charrington may be avoiding contact, but his family isn't giving up. They're now turning to the public, asking anyone who sees him not to ignore it. Instead, contact police or call or text 608-9890, 668-7733, or 602-4452. Tonight, they're holding on to hope that someone, somewhere, can help bring him home. Still ahead, frustration boils over in San Pedro as residents hit the streets protesting rising costs, dredging, and the cost of living they say is out of control.
Is one of the most visited Mayan city up until lately. The adjacent communities have collaborated together to see how they can get a space here that the wood carvers could actually market and sell their product. Not having the POS machine in the past, we have lost a lot of sales. Atlantic Bank helps supported our business, giving us the opportunity to get the POS machine. Now with the POS machine, we are able to do more sales, and that will, also bring more, finance to our families.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Your security, our top priority. We guard your world with strength and integrity. From home, cars and rentals, business too. We make protection simply easy for you. BB Insurance, trusted and true. Clear policies assured. Fast claims too. No appointment needed. Just swing by. Locations countrywide where peace resides.
BB Insurance, your security, our priority.
Let's all be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
He skipped nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progreso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal. It's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. Smart, bringing people together.
To leave everything you've got on this stage. Mark your calendar and get camera ready. Auditions are June 6 and 7 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. At a Greater Belize, Leisure Studios and Tony Drive, Belize City. Hey. Selected contestants will enter the KTV Season 8 competition, and the lucky winner will go home with a 10,000 great prize. This is your moment.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. 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 Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready.
Frustration is spilling into the streets in San Pedro, where residents say rising costs and ongoing development projects are pushing them to the limit. This afternoon, a group of determined demonstrators marched through the town, calling attention to fuel prices, dredging concerns, and the overall cost of living. Carrying signs and chanting for change, the protesters made their way from Sacachispa Stadium to Central Park, sending a clear message that they want action. After the march, News 5's Brittany Gordon caught up with some of those taking a stand. Here's that story.
Who is the change? The people. Who's got the last voice? The people.
Residents of Ambergis Key are speaking out and demanding action. About 30 protesters took to the streets this afternoon, rallying against dredging and the rising cost of living. While the turnout was small, demonstrators say the frustration runs deep across the island.
It was a small number. I am a bit disappointed to say something. I believe that all of San Pedro should have come out because this is of utmost important. You know, the corruption happening in our country, the cost of living going up, the diesel going up. Everybody posts on Facebook when it comes to show up. People are basically, I think they're afraid, they're intimidated because of what has been happening here in Belize because of the different corruptions in different systems, no? So, but again, if we don't stand up for ourselves, who will? No, we have to stand up for ourselves.
The protest was originally planned as a march outside the office of Area Representative Andre Perez. However, that route was denied by the Belize Police Department. Despite the small turnout, organizer Celestino Zul pressed on, leading the march from Sacachispa Stadium to Central Park. He believes fear of victimization kept more residents from joining.
I appreciate the people that showed up today. This is not a resemblance of where we stand. This just shows that the people are living in fear, that the people are afraid to be victimized. The people are held accountable of their services, and they are held ransom of what they really deserve.
Dredging has emerged as a major concern for protesters, who are increasingly alarmed by the projects taking place across the country in recent months. While the government claims it has hit pause on several operations, residents demand greater transparency and consultation before these projects are approved.
We're fighting today for our community, or communities first, which is the destruction of our natural resources, our marine ecosystems, our mangroves, our barrier reef, our Caribbean Sea, our lagoons that are being destroyed every day, and, the government don't seem to do anything about it or care about it, So we're fighting for tourism to keep alive here in Belize, because if all these ecosystems are damaged, then nobody will come here, right? So we're actually fighting to protect our livelihood.
Another issue highlighted by protesters was the financial strain due to the rising cost of living on the island. Residents are now calling on the government to boost Belize's economy as the cost of fuel continues to rise.
The cost of living is high, and of course there is a way out. The government needs to figure out that we need to work together, and they have to figure out how we can become a country that is productive rather than a country that is just taking handouts.
Zul is now planning to organize another protest, one he hopes will draw more supporters.
We'll figure out another way forward, but this is just the first. We're going to figure out another protest, and I expect that more people will show up for the next one and understand that this is not politics. This is about our livelihood. This is about our future. This is about our youth. You understand? The country itself is suffering. How much more can we take, or how far are we going to take this?
Following the march, protesters gathered in Central Park, where they continued to voice their demands and call on the government to make life easier for residents. Brittany Gordon for News 5.
Protest organizer Celestino Zul also plans to run for mayor of San Pedro next year, committing to fostering a new era of change for the island. Belize's long-awaited workplace safety law has hit another delay. After years of pressure from unions and labor advocates, debate on the Occupational Safety and Health Bill was postponed in the Senate today. Government Senator Anthony Sylvester says key visions only arrived Tuesday, revisions, leaving lawmakers without enough time to review them. The setback is fueling frustration as advocates warn Belizean workers have already waited far too long for stronger protections on the job.
Madam President, on the order paper for today, there is the Occupational Hazard and Safety Bill. That debate, or continuation of that debate, Madam President, I would ask if that be deferred. My understanding is that on last occasion, when the matter was before this chamber, certain undertakings were given. It was only late yesterday that we were able to have comments, responses to some of the comments from senators that were handed in, and I don't think that would have afforded senators sufficient time to be able to adequately prepare for today. And so we're asking if that bill could be deferred to a later date.
The difficulty we have is that there was to be a second face-to-face meeting, for lack of a better way to put it, with the technical people. And to be quite frank with you, Madam President, we find it unacceptable, even the excuse that was given that they're unable to meet with us for whatever reason. That baffled me completely. And while the response that you gave me just now provides a way forward, it denies the members of the Senate that opportunity even before the debate continues that was actually kind of promised for us to engage with the technical folks. I get the impression, I don't want to be critical, that these technical people might be in over their heads. It was very clear to me, and that is frightening for the passage of this bill. It's very frightening when it is that the CEO and the Labour Commissioner are unable to answer, and then we ask them to come back. And the reason we ask them to come back.
Prime Minister Briceño has deflected blame for the continued delay, saying the government has done its part and the House of Representatives has done its part to push the OSH bill forward. The Senate now needs to pass the bill. As storms, cyber threats, and system failures become real risks, leaders are rethinking how to protect the country's most valuable asset, its data. This week, Belize is hosting regional experts and policymakers for a high-level workshop focused on digital resilience and a cutting-edge concept known as data embassies. The idea is simple but powerful. Store critical government information safely beyond national borders so it remains secure even in the face of disasters. It's a new frontier in national security and one that officials say could safeguard Belize's digital backbone for the future. News 5's Shane Williams reports.
Governments are moving their most critical records online, but what happens when disaster strikes? That question is driving a regional workshop in Belize focused on digital resilience and data embassies. The concept: store secure copies of vital data like birth records, land titles, and IDs in another country while keeping full control. It's a bold plan to protect essential information from hurricanes, cyber attacks, and system failures.
And data embassies is simply like an extension of your embassy that you have in a different country, which is considered your own space as a country, almost like for instance the embassy in Belize in Washington. That's ours, and the laws do not apply to that space. And so we are finding more and more now that everything is based with data, and there are constant threats. Violence, you have wars, you have hurricanes, for instance, in the region, earthquakes, cyber attacks. And so the idea is for us to be able to countries to look at different countries where they can say, okay, I'm going to leave my data, say in Barbados or in St. Kitts, and then a copy of my data is stored in that country, and now that belongs to Belize is governed by Belizean law. It's going to be Belizean jurisdiction.
For Belize, officials say the country may already have a head start. Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of E-Governance, Jose Urbina, says legislation passed several years ago laid the groundwork for the possibility of storing government data beyond Belize's borders.
I also strongly believe that the legislative foundation that Belize has, by launching a suite of legislations in late 2021, was key and fundamental to where we are today. And when we link data embassies with the national digital agenda and the legislation we already have in place, is very, I couldn't tell then that the legislation was so future thinking, in that the legislation allows for Belize to do data sharing across borders and does not limit data within the government of Belize to reside within the government of Belize.
Success will rely on regional interests and buy-in from governments that are at different stages of their own digital transformation journeys. In the Turks and Caicos Islands, Minister of Innovation, Technology and Energy Erwin J. Sanders says his country is still strengthening the legal protections needed to support modern digital systems.
Now we're bringing together a suite of legislation to around a number of things, including the main one for us is the data protection legislation, because we're about 4 years into rolling out our national ID, and we're well down the road, but a lot of it requires new legislation. So we're just about ready to go. We don't have some of the legislation relating to data sharing, and I'm certainly happy that I came here and that this came out, because most of our focus has been on data protection.
But while the concept offers security and continuity, it also raises important questions about sovereignty and trust. Grenada's Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Ron Redhead, says governments must ensure that even when data is housed abroad, ownership and access remain firmly under national control.
We do also have similar legislations. We do also have data protection legislation. And it's more so now a conversation in relation to data embassies in terms of, how can we even protect the country from companies who would obviously have the capacity to set up our data embassies, from withholding it in a sense from the host country, and the question of data sovereignty. So it is similar with the concern of the average Grenadian, where when you take my data, what happens to it? Am I protected only based on legislation?
The workshop aims to help Caribbean nations safeguard critical data and keep essential services running during crises. For small, vulnerable states, digital resilience isn't a future goal. It's fast becoming a national security priority. Shane Williams reporting for News 5.
Belize is showcasing its maritime and financial services at one of the world's biggest shipping expos. A national delegation is in Athens, Greece for Posidonia 2026, a major international event that brings together key players in the global shipping industry. Officials say Belize is using the platform to promote everything from ship registration to financial services under one integrated offering. At the center of that pitch is the Belize Ship Registry, which now includes more than 800 vessels worldwide, backed by a network of international representatives. The event also marks the international debut of Imarbe's new managing director, Abilio Dominguez, as Belize pushes to strengthen partnerships and expand its presence in the maritime sector. Officials say the goal is clear: boost Belize's visibility, attract new business, and position the country as a competitive player in global shipping and financial services. Up next, a star-studded wedding turns heads in Belize as global media power players say "I do" on a private island, putting the country in the influencer spotlight.
Nights out. Said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle. All for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Belize Electricity Limited is pleased to announce the holding of its 2025 annual general meeting at the BEL corporate headquarters at 2.5 miles Philip Golson Highway, Belize City, Belize at 3:00 p.m. on Thursday, June 18, 2026. For registration purposes, shareholders are advised to bring along a valid identification such as a Social Security card. Shareholders who are unable to attend may choose, and we encourage you to exercise this right, to appoint your proxy, or you can simply appoint the company's executive chairman or the corporate secretary as your proxy to represent you at the AGM. Proxy forms can be submitted at the BEL corporate headquarters at 2.5 miles Philip Golson Highway or via email at shares@bel.com.bz no later than 5:00 p.m. on June 16, 2026. For more information or assistance, contact BEL's Securities Officer at 501-227-0954, extension 1512.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
A high-profile wedding in Belize is putting the spotlight on more than just romance. It's also shining a light on the country as a playground for global influencers. Over the weekend, media mogul Dave Mays, founder of The Source, tied the knot with former Oprah Winfrey Show producer Brett Jolie on a private island off Ambergris Caye. But this wasn't your ordinary wedding. It was a star-powered gathering, drawing in hip-hop heavyweights like Manny Fresh and Belizean artist Shine, all converging on the exclusive Prince Island. The event blended culture, entertainment, and tourism, offering a powerful glimpse into how Belize is capturing the attention of the international spotlight. Here's News 5's Isani Cayetano.
Belize is quickly becoming one of the top choices for destination weddings. With its breathtaking coastline and lush inland settings, the country offers the perfect backdrop for couples ready to tie the knot in unforgettable style. Over the weekend, an American couple exchanged vows on a secluded island just off Ambergris Caye, turning heads with a wedding that was anything but ordinary.
But unless you met the love of your life out of town, at the epicenter of racial tension in America, and what became the spark that ignited a revolution against police brutality and systemic injustice worldwide, then you gotta take a back seat.
This wasn't your typical bride and groom, and the setting? Far from familiar, offering a truly unique twist on saying I do in Belize. Getting married was Dave Mays, someone hip-hop fans like myself will instantly recognize. He's the founder of The Source, the iconic American magazine and website that helped shape hip-hop culture, music, and entertainment for an entire generation. And, standing beside him, his stunning bride, Brett Jolie, a former producer of The Oprah Winfrey Show.
We expect you two to be the perfect parents, with the perfect children, who show up to every social event as the life of the party, while building businesses that flourish.
Beyond launching his source back in 1988, Mays has continued to make moves, most recently with his latest venture, Breakbeat Media, keeping his influence alive in the culture.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Spill 400. Juvenile is somewhere in the world doing juvenile stuff. You got your brother, DJ Manny Fresh, and I got a special guest, my brother Shine, great integrity, great integrity, good energy. Evan Tillett, he takes care of everything in Belize. You are over tourism, right? That's You're that guy. You're that dude.
That multimedia podcast network, launched in September 2021, has already made its mark, bringing audiences Still 400, a weekly show that dives into music, culture, and real-life conversations. The show is hosted by hip-hop heavyweights, rapper Juvenile, and legendary producer Manny Fresh. And Fresh, best known for his work with Cash Money Records, was right here in Belize, making the trip to Prince Island for the star-studded celebration, which included special guest Shine. Along with tourism director Evan Tillett, he's doing everything to promote the Jewel.
If anybody knows anything about me, everything that I do is Belize. And obviously, I have a legacy, and a lot of people that love me and believe in me. And so when Shine says Belize, they're like, oh, okay.
Now, if you're wondering about Prince Island, it's no ordinary venue. It's a private, exclusive, 8-acre, all-inclusive getaway just off Ambergris Key, owned by record executive James Prince. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Before we leave you, here's tonight's viewer's voice. On our first story, PM Briceño on rising violence. Parents need to step up. Glenda May Mart commented, "As a society, we need to step up and see how we can help to change the mindset of our youth so they can value themselves and life more. There are many other factors that are affecting our youth. We need a community to raise a child. Kids are a reflection of their home. Respect starts at home." Turning to Sandhill man, Dean Vaccaro charged in deadly teen shooting. Lydell Gillett shared, "How can you shoot teenagers? Come on, man, there could have been another way to resolve this matter. If somebody stole my motorcycle, I would never think about going to ambush and kill the thieves. Let the police deal with the matter, but I guess other people think differently. You can always get back a motorcycle, but you can't get back a life." And finally, Briceño defends Mira, says Alberta August crossed the line. Ramon Hernandez shared, "Public officials must be prepared to face criticism, satire, and public scrutiny without resorting to actions that could be perceived as intimidation of political opponents. At the same time, any allegation of cyberbullying or threatening behavior should be investigated impartially, regardless of who is involved." Thank you for engaging with us online. Your voices shape the national conversation. Keep those comments coming, and we'll continue to feature them right here. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.